Hey loves, what problem do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, you heard me. What problem do you want to be when you grow up? I saw on Facebook that we are now, instead of asking our children what they want to be when they grow up, supposed to ask them what problems they want to solve. And that reminded me of a question I had asked a client. I said, who would you be if the world was at peace? And she, like most people, didn't really know how to answer that question. Essentially, if the world was at peace, most of us wouldn't have the identity that we have right now. So my process, and if you're somebody like me who's always committed to your own spiritual growth, your process is going to be filled with your own mental tricks of the trade to keep you in check or in alignment with who you want to show up as for the planet. My process often looks like little random Stacy tidbits plastered all over things that they shouldn't be plastered over. And the other day I was eating and I came across this process that I had gone through. And I wanted to share it with you because oftentimes we think that when we're asking our intuition for an answer, we're going to get an answer, or we're supposed to get an answer. And if we can't get the answer, then we're pissed at our intuition. But oftentimes my intuition kicks back a question, and I am supposed to answer that question. So what problem do you want to be when you grow up? I would never have thought about this in my entire life until I started putting myself out there. And all of a sudden I realized my authenticity is going to become somebody's problem. That's what they meant all those years when they said haters are going to hate. I have always been somebody who I want the world to love each other. But the reality is, some people are going to be disturbed with your authenticity. They're going to have a problem with your truth. So what problem are you willing to be when you grow up? Because if you're willing to be the person who sticks up for what you believe, if you're willing to be that kind of problem, you're not going to defend your position when somebody is judging you for being the problem. So I put myself out there and somebody had wrote that I had exaggerated. This person knows nothing about my past, nothing about me as a parent, nothing really truly about anything other than 1,000 words that I had posted online. And at first I was thinking to myself, I exaggerate, I can't believe this is what this person thinks of me, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, wait, Stace, check yourself. You are so willing to be this problem. You're so willing to be the person who challenges other people to challenge you or challenge themselves. And I essentially invited this problem into my life by putting myself out there. And I'm okay with being that problem. So considering what problem you are willing to be when you grow up, I mean, the idea of growing up, but really, what problem are you willing to be on the planet? And being okay with that reality. This is the problem I present, and then I can come up with solutions for the problem that I present. The second thing that I had written down was, what problem do you want to solve? And this one's super duper duper important because people are always solving problems. And the problem with this is that we are limiting ourselves by the problems that we're choosing to want to solve. So I'm going to give you an example. My whole life, my parents had one problem across the board. And that one problem in their mind led to every other problem in their life. It was, how are they going to pay the bills? And guess what the universe created for them? It created always the problem of how they're going to pay their bills. But say they decided, we want to move to Africa. The universe would have created the problem of getting them to Africa. Or, I want to fly a spaceship. The universe would have created the problem for them of how are they going to get to fly their spaceship. We have to be very cautious of the problems that we choose to select as our own problems. Because oftentimes we think that we're doing it unconsciously, and we're really not. There's an idea that if there was a problem tree in the center of a room, and everybody in that room went up to the tree to pull off problems, they would still pull off their own. So if you are somebody who's going, well, why doesn't life work for me? Why can't I get beyond this hump in my life? Consider that the problem that you have aligned with to solve right now is less than what you want to be. So if you're aligning with the problem of, I can't figure out how to pay my bills, why not level up to, oh, it'll be really interesting to figure out how I'm going to go on vacation next year, rather than stopping and looking at this ceiling that you're putting upon yourself and never allowing yourself to truly get beyond because you're so focused on the problem that you chose to solve, which is how am I going to pay my bills? Seeing beyond that problem is where we want to go. We want to decide consciously, what problems do I want to solve in my life, and how can I do that comes next. The universe will deliver all of that, but really focusing on what problems do I want to solve, because you're going to get the problems that you ask for. And if you want the problem of paying your bills, that's what's going to show up. And if you want the problem of becoming famous, that's the problem that's going to show up. So be conscious about what your problems are, in the sense that you get to choose them. Bye guys, I hope this was helpful. If you needed it, share it.